going on, Mavs fans? Happy Monday, everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. On today's show, we are going to react to what ESPN's NBA Insiders had to say about Cooper Flagg's career. They predicted a bunch of different milestones in Flagg's career, whether he would win a title, whether he would play with a different team, and all of that good stuff is coming up right here on today's show. But before we get into it, please be sure to hit that subscribe button because we have year-round Mavericks updates for you guys. Whether it's the dead of the offseason like it is right now, or it's right in the heart of the middle of the regular season, we have you covered. So subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know as soon as we publish a video. The first question we're going to dive into here this year is, where do ESPN NBA experts predict that the Mavericks finish in the Western Conference? And I thought this was pretty interesting because they kind of align with what most everyone has been saying about the Mavericks here in the offseason so far. Just 3.8% of them think they'll finish outside of the postseason. I don't think there's pretty much any way that happens unless there's a catastrophic injury crisis, which again could happen considering what happened last year with the Mavericks. The majority of them think they are going to be in the NBA play-in in seeds 7 through 10. That's what 73.1% of them say. In the playoffs, 23.1, which means 5 or 6. And that's kind of where I think they're going to be. And maybe I'm higher on the Mavericks because I'm biased, but I think they're going to be a top 5 or 6 seed if they can stay healthy. Home court in the playoffs, meaning they get a 4 seed or higher in the West. Nobody thinks they're going to do that. And you know what? I don't really blame them for that. So that's kind of where they think that the Mavericks are going to sit there. And it's all going to be on Cooper Flagg just because they're going to put a lot on his plate early and often. He's going to be tasked with handling the ball. He's going to be tasked with getting his fair share of rebounds and then some. He's going to be tasked with a lot early and often. So basically, as Cooper Flagg goes, this team will go. Moving on to the next ESPN batch of predictions, they ask how many series will Flagg, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis win as a trio. You have to take into account that that AD and Kyrie are on 3-year contracts, so this could be a short-lived tandem, so to speak. But 7.7% of them think they will not win any series. The most common answer was they'll win one series at 30.8%. 26.9% of ESPN experts think they'll win at least 2 series. 19.2%, and so on and so forth. Look, if they win 4 or more series together, that means they likely won an NBA title. And 6 or more of them, 3.8% people think they can win 6 or more. I just don't know if that's really realistic, and I think it's very fair to predict a lower number here simply because both Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving are on 3-year contracts with player options in that third season. So I don't see a scenario where it's more than 4. Look, if it's 4 this season and the Mavericks end up winning the NBA championship, you can come back to this video, call me an idiot, and do whatever you want me to do. I just think that's a very, very lofty goal for the Mavericks to have, to think that they can win 3 or more series. Anthony Davis and Kyrie both are under contract technically through the 28th season, but they do have that player optionality, so it's possible they could be done after 2 seasons. So I'm operating on a 2-year timeline where if I had to predict how many series the AD, Kyrie, and Cooper Flagg trio would win, I'd probably put it somewhere between 2 and 3. I think they can win a playoff series this year, and it'd have to be the right matchup, but maybe that's on the more optimistic side of things. I'll ask you guys because I really don't know what the answer is. How many series do you think Kyrie, AD, and Cooper Flagg will win together as a trio? Do you think it's 1, 2, 3? Let me know down there in the comment section. Hell, put 10 if you think it could be 10. Now, the next topic we're going to get to here. When will Cooper Flagg make his first All-Star game? And this kind of got me thinking, just because of me thinking about number 1 overall picks and their ascension into NBA stardom. And the comparable that I have, I think, is pretty interesting. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But experts predict that Flagg will likely not make the All-Star team in his first year. I think that's more than reasonable. Now, in the second year, there's a big jump to 30.8%, but most of them think he will make the All-Star team in his third season, in the 27-28 season, at 57.7%. And I really do think that's probably fair. I don't think it's realistic to expect Flagg to make the Western Conference All-Star team in year 1. Luka didn't even do that, and he was almost unanimous Rookie of the Year for the Mavericks, losing out on that by just 1 vote. Shout out to Royce Young, you absolute stiff. But anyways, it's not fair to put that amount of pressure on Flagg. And I think the Mavericks are doing a good job of trying to subside and tamper expectations as much as they can, even though they really think this guy is going to be special and lead this team for years and years to come. But the comparison that I'm going to give you guys is Paolo Banchero, who ended up being the number one overall pick in the 22 NBA draft. Banchero had a fantastic rookie season, averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 4 assists. And then in his second year, where he did make the All-Star team, he averaged almost 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Took a huge second-year leap. Last season dealt with some injuries, but still took yet another leap and averaged almost 26, 7.5 boards, and almost 5 assists as well. Can Flagg replicate Paolo Banchero's rise and be an all-star in his second season, where he kind of elevates the Magic status as well into a contender in the Eastern Conference? I think that Cooper Flagg could have the same impact for the Mavericks, where he elevates the Maverick status into contender status in the West. Will that happen in year one? Probably not. Could it happen in year two, maybe even year three? Absolutely. So that's what you're kind of looking for with Flagg. I think this year is about learning on the job, getting your feet under you, and just figuring out how the NBA works as a whole. That's where I'm at with Flagg. I think he's going to make multiple All-Stars with the Mavericks. It just may not be this season. We'll get to the rest of the show here in just a moment, but we have a great deal for you guys right now. When you go to chatsports.com/Mavs sale, we have this dope throwback hat. It's a washed gray look with Dallas Mavericks on the front. It's got 1980, the year the Mavericks were founded, on there as well. Chatsports.com/Mavs sale has you covered for 25% off this new hat. And when you use that link, Fanatics will send us a part of the proceeds as well. So you're supporting the channel while getting yourself a dope Mavs hat for the season, which starts in just about 2 months or so. Once again, chatsports.com/Mavs sale. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. How many MVPs do you think Cooper Flagg will win? And this is a crazy question, because predicting anyone to win an NBA MVP is just almost impossible to do. 0 is at 34.6%. Most of the ESPN experts, the majority vote here, 46.2%, think he'll win at least one MVP, and then it goes down as you go on. Now, for some there's one person on this list that predicted him to win 4 or more MVPs. When you're talking about 4 or more, you are talking about LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're talking about Bill Russell. You're talking about Michael Jordan. You're talking about the greatest players of all time. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say Cooper Flagg is going to be the greatest player of all time. Could he win one MVP? Absolutely. If I had to predict it right now, though, call me a hater, I would go 0. Just because it's so hard to win an NBA MVP. And for that particular season, you have to be either the best player on the best team or so much by far the best player in the league that they can't help but vote for you. So I'm going to say 0. Maybe I'm wrong, but the experts think that he's going to win at least one, which is fantastic considering he's hopefully going to do that in a Mavericks uniform. And then the last category we'll get to, how many titles will Flagg win? A lot of them think it's going to be 1. That's the vast majority of the vote there at 76.9%. And when you think about winning titles when you're in the NBA here, if you just go and look at the past title winners of the last 25 years, barring very few of them like the Detroit Pistons in 2004, you have a top 25 player of all time on your roster when you win a title. The Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Mavericks, the Miami Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks. You almost always have that player. Did the Oklahoma City Thunder have it this past season with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? It's definitely possible. Denver Nuggets had it with Nikola Jokic. If you are winning an NBA title, chances are you have a top 25 player of all time on your team. If the Mavericks win a title, you could argue and say that's Anthony Davis. You could argue and say that it could be Cooper Flagg before it's all said and done. So we'll see what happens there, but just keep that note in the back of your mind when you're predicting whether or not Cooper Flagg will win a title here in Dallas with the Mavericks. You guys tell me to round out today's show. Does Flagg win more MVPs or NBA titles in his career? If you think it's MVP, go ahead and type that down in the comment section. Or if you think it's championships, type champ down below and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. That will do it for today's show, guys. Appreciate you for tuning in to Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Like I said, we are in the dead of the offseason. The NBA schedule expected to be released earlier or later this week, I think on Thursday. So we'll keep you up to date with all of the key dates that come out from that as well. And of course, if anything happens with the Mavericks, you'll find out right here on the channel.